I followed my dreams and opened an antique store to have adventures and spend time as a family. Sometimes you have to climb a mountain and open some new doors to find the treasures inside. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc. Hey everyone, so this week I am off on my way to Victoria, British Columbia to do a little exploration, visit some family, and hopefully come home with some treasures. I'm going to get on my airplane right away here, load up, and see what we can find.
Votre ceinture de sécurité, insérez la languette de métal dans la boucle. Tirez sur la courroie pour l'ajuster sur vos hanches. Pour détacher votre ceinture, il suffit de soulever la boucle.
Sydney by the Sea. So I'm in the town of Brentwood Bay, right on Vancouver Island, and we're going to stop at a couple antique stores along the way while we head to Victoria and cruise around and try and find some antiques on the island. So let's go inside and see what's in store. So our first stop today is a store called Everything Old, and I can tell right away that they've got some interesting stuff because you don't often see cannons sitting outside an antique store. We'll go inside and check it out.
So huge.
Your dog is the size of a horse, so what type of dog is this?
Marlo is a Leonberger, and he is 21 months old.
He's coming to say hi.
He's going to bed.
He's going to bed.
And what does a lean burger weigh?
Well, Marlo at 21 months is 150 pounds already, which means that in the morning when he jumps up on the bed to wake you up, which he loves to do, you have to protect your vital organs.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all kinds of neat stuff, and I can tell right away looking around the shop that this is the type of place I could spend some real time in. So we'll see if we can find a couple interesting items to bring back home before the trip is over. This place is crazy cool. There's tons of cool stuff to see, so I'm going to keep looking around, but I can tell it's going to be an expensive visit. So you guys have an amazing shop. I've never been in before, and I've been to the island several times. So how long have you been here for?
Well, we've been at this location for 3 years. We've been doing this for about 5 years in total, and we started out with about 6 items on our farmhouse table out in North Sandwich.
And so what do you specialize in? What's your specialty that you like to look for?
Oh, anything with a story, really.
Just love good, honest, useful antiques, things that were made well, built to last.
And what's the most interesting item you've ever purchased, would you say?
Oh,
The Armada trunk we just got in.
The
is
Armada
pretty
trunk.
Well, let's have a
pretty
look at it.
fantastic.
I have to say this is pretty cool. I mean, it's a tough one to answer. This was made during the 1700s, so 18th century, and it was designed to carry valuables, money, and so on. We actually have all the original locks, and they're just, keys to the locks, just giant iron keys. What's interesting about the Armada trunk is that this is all hand forged, so made by a blacksmith, one band of steel pounded over another. And it has a very complex mechanism underneath that allows you to lock it. It also has a fake lock on the front. That's not where it is. It's actually hidden here. And this spring still works, and Amber's showing the keys.
So,
and then that's the
just
size.
That's a pretty heavy duty key.
of a key.
It is.
No treasure hidden inside?
Not with this one, but it's almost a treasure in and of itself.
I don't really use the lock too much because with
Ready?
Oh, it's got
leaf
some weight.
springs that old.
So as we can see, there's an inner compartment which we have a key for as well. But under this panel, which is all ornately cut out, is the entire lock mechanism. When you think about that having to be hand pounded on a forge.
Well, and the fact that they decorated even back there, every little piece got detail to it. Yeah. And they didn't have to do that, but...
And the age, you say?
Louis the 16th, Louis the 15th kind of era.
Amazing. Just simply amazing. Well, that was a pretty amazing stop, and I will say they're lovely folks and have a great eye for antiques. Was kind of an expensive trip. I did pick up some really cool stuff on this adventure though, so yeah, to be continued as I get all the stuff shipped to me hopefully in the next week or so. But very happy that I stopped and met some new friends, and that's what this business is supposed to be all about, new friends. Our next stop of the day is Memories Antiques and General Salvage, where hopefully we'll find some nautical items. The main floor here is packed full of antique furniture, old chairs hanging all over the ceiling, and all kinds of knick-knackery. So we're gonna have a look around and see what kind of cool stuff they have in store for us here. As a rule, I usually don't do a whole lot of furniture at the shop, but there are lots of other odds and ends that might work for us, so I'm going to keep digging. It's kind of an interesting piece here. Decorative, hand-painted, nice detail. But I think I just said I don't do much for furniture, but that is cool. And the downstairs here is pretty packed full of really cool stuff too, so hopefully there's some little things that'll make sense or some nautical items that would be great to have in our shop. Old brass portals are great, but they're also really big and a little bit bulky to ship back. What I'm hoping for is to find a spotlight. Lots of antique lighting, and if you're missing a shade off of something, they've pretty well got it covered. Lots of architectural salvage, bits and pieces. I haven't found anything I need just yet. Well, there's a lot of little oil cans. Let's see if there's anything a little bit more unique in here. And parts of the store are probably a little bit difficult to go through. There's just piles and piles of stuff. Hey, a little handmade kids Jeep. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Go outside and see if there's anything in the outbuildings. Well, there's a stockpile of brass beds. If people actually bought those, that would be a pretty good variety of them. But they're not super popular right now. Look at this old wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
That's a real old timer. That's wicker. It's kind of cool. You know, just sitting outside in this scrapyard, more or less, probably like a 1800s Victorian
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Just sitting.
Just hanging out. Not gonna stay in very good shape sitting outside like that.
No.
I wonder how the French feel about the fleur-de-lis being on the
Yeah.
toilet bowl basin. Probably not their symbol of pride they were thinking of. So it's so strange. There's a real big variety of stuff that's in this shed, and a lot of it probably isn't stuff that would be of great monetary value, well, possibly to anyone, unless maybe you're looking for scrap or bits or pieces. But then you have something as strange as that Victorian wheelchair just hanging out outdoors, and that's the one thing that's sitting out here that should be inside covered up, not to rot. So I don't know. You never know what you're gonna find though. There might be something neat in here, so I'm gonna keep looking around and see if there's something that would work for us. And I understand why they would keep some things like this, like these architectural dowels and railings and these columns. You could repurpose those into something else, and they probably got pulled out of a nice old home. And at the price, you know, $42 for an old column, if you have a use for it, that's not really all that bad. But I'm not looking for old columns. And again, kind of neat salvage. This really nice hardwood paneling probably came out of a dining room of an old home, and for, you know, $130, that's a nice architectural piece. But you'll want to get it fast because it's going to get rained on out here. I've noticed that all the stuff is either fabulous or wonderful. That's something I haven't tried in my shop, is to add a few extra catchphrases in there. Fabulous. And this table is wonderful.
But I do see something here that looks like it is up my alley. This is an old architectural molding or trim piece that looks like it was mounted directly to the wall and possibly was through a fire, as it's charred on the back side, so somebody probably saved it. This is coming home.
I always drive past this old motel that they've converted, they call it Hotel Z. The nice thing is it's a 50s kind of era motel, but they've really gone with that 50s retro vibe. It's pretty cool. Never stayed there one of these days. We're gonna make a pit stop at Fishermans Wharf in downtown Victoria, a beautiful spot which I've been to with my family before, and it's got a special little treat. Some interesting houses. Let's go have a look-see. And some neat old classic cars. Actually, Victoria is well known to have a really strong classic car community. So down at the piers at Fisherman's Wharf, there are lots of restaurants, some shopping, lots of gift shops, lots of activity. But this is also a residential neighborhood. You'd have to get very used to having people all up in your business.
Boy, this has sure grown since I've been down here last. Lots of little shops and stuff.
And if you are so inclined, you can actually purchase a house and dock it at the wharf. All of these little buildings here are individual homes and private residences, so you have to be respectful, but they do put things out on display on their decks, so you can kind of get an idea about what the floating life might be like. Pretty interesting little house. We'll have a look. These houses are all built on small floating docks or small barges. They can be 2 or in some cases almost 3 stories tall. They're docked firmly against the wharf here, so you wouldn't want it floating away. And the residents do tell me that in a storm you can definitely feel the houses going up and down. And here's another solution. You find an old boat, build it into a house, dock it, and there you go. Downtown parking, downtown living. And you can actually catch the little island taxis here. They do have water taxis that take you all around downtown and through the city. And because I'm on the ocean today, I thought I'd get sushi. On our way to do a little antiquing through the area today, we decided to stop in Sydney, British Columbia, which is a beautiful stop along the way. As soon as you get off the ferry, you're going to stumble across it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So let's have a look around town to see what there is to see. Nestled right on Vancouver Island in the Pacific Ocean lies Sydney. The population is roughly about 10,000 people in this area, and it's absolutely stunning. Nearly 100 years ago, this empty field, which is now used as an amphitheater, housed a glass factory, which exploded under tremendous force and shot shards of glass and pottery out into the ocean, which still washes up to this day. So this is the glass beach. I'm gonna see if I can find anything around. There's usually some little bits and pieces still, 100 years later, there's still stuff all over the place. So you can see that even after just a short while, you can easily find a whole bunch of glass on the beach. You have to imagine that the first year or two after that explosion, this must have been a horrifically dangerous place to come for anybody, and now it's a little bit of a tourist attraction as people buy these to decorate their homes and make little pots and all sorts of things with. So we're gonna return this back to the beach and keep walking. Right across from us is, right there, Mount Baker, which is in Washington State. So we're very close to the United States right now. And I'm just gonna walk down on the rocks here, and there's there's some, I don't know if you see it, there's something kind of funny in the water. We're gonna walk up to it. Now I've seen some strange things wash up in the ocean, but this is a little bit different. There's a straight six car engine sitting here. Overhead cam. It's probably not terribly old, and they do actually use those on ships too as inboard engines, so it could be that it was on a boat or a ship at some time. I'm not sure what the make of it is. I'm gonna see if I can get around a little closer. See if I can read anything off of it, but this would have had to wash up over all these rocks in the ocean, so it had to get past that rock, past that one, over here to land right there. Oh yeah, there's no way I can read whatever's on this thing. But maybe somebody watching knows what it is from the way the manifold is on there, or who knows, but unusual find. And the explosion was so intense, you can see there's charred remains and there's still pieces of brick from the building that are stuck in the side of this rock. That would have been some pretty intense heat. You can kind of see the charred debris all melted in there in little bits of rock, and there's little chunks of glass. Who knows what is still lying around in the water nearby. Lots of driftwood, and some of these timbers are really big, and the way this is so flat, I would think that that's maybe part of a boat or a structure of some kind.
Vancouver Island is truly a remarkable place to visit, and if you've never been, you gotta go. There's lots to see, and we had a great time. But it's time for me to head out. I'm taking the ferry back to Vancouver and then flying home. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.